Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us today. Wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can describe the glories of, or try to describe the glories of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, whose disappearance day it is today. So who is he? He's a very, very interesting personality. He is regarded to be incarnation of Srila Vyasadeva in Chaitanya Leela. He appeared as the son of Narayani in Vaikuntanath Vipra in 1507. And this was 7 years after Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So Mahaprabhu took sannyas in 1500 when he was 24. Narayani is the niece of Srivas Thakur. And Srivas Thakur is one of the Panchatattva. And Narayani is a special person. She's actually Kalimbika in Krishna Leela, one of Krishna's nurses. So very interesting person. This is the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur. So niece of Srivas Thakur. So let's just revise again who's Srivas Thakur within the Panchatattva. So this is the beautiful Panchatattva in Mayapur Dham. And we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then we have Nityananda. Now, where is Srivas Pandit? Anybody remember?
On the right.
Right, Srivas Thakur. Very good. And oh yeah, he's already, we've already written it there. And there's Gadadhar. This is Advaitacharya, Gadadhar, and Srivas Thakur. I didn't realize we already had it here. Oh, was that somebody else who wrote it? Well done. Was that Riyansh? Very good, Riyansh. I like it. I like it. Well done. And who's who, Riyansh? We know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, Nityananda Mahaprabhu is Balaram, Advaitacharya is Mahavishnu and Sadashiv, Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani, Srivas Thakur is Narad Muni.
Oh, fantastic. Well done. Very good, boy. And of these, who are the Vishnu Tattvas?
Krishna, Balaram, Mahavishnu.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, well done. First class, Ariyansh. Now, Narayani, she received a lot of mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when she lived in Srivas Thakur's house. She was a young girl, very young child. And she would be blessed with Mahaprabhu's remnants, the leftovers after he had eaten. So often he would give her his pan that he just half chewed, half eaten. He would give the other half to Narayani. She was very fortunate. She got the remnants of the Supreme Lord. And once on his instructions, she danced and called out to Krishna in ecstasy. She was only 4 years old. So he said they were doing kirtan, and he was asking all the devotees to jump and dance and sing, and she started doing that in ecstasy as well. She was very fortunate, Narayani. Due to Vrindavan Das Thakur's father's untimely departure from this world, while he was still in his mother's womb, so his father, Vaikuntanath, he died when Narottam was very young. In fact, not even born yet. So Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas Pandit, she brought Narayani and Vrindavan Das Thakur to her father's home. Her father's name, Vasudev Dutt, in Mamgachi. And that's where he was raised, Vrindavan Das Thakur, with great love and affection. And he was cared for as a valuable gem. So Mamgachi is in Modadrumdwip, and that's one of the 9 islands in Navadvip. So, don't know what happened there. Got it wrong there. Anyway, let me just see if I can correct this. Actually, yeah, these are the deities. This is actually his place where he was born. Not born. That's where that's where he was born, and that's Bias Avatar, Vrindavan Das Thakur's birthplace. Mamgachi was where this is where he stayed, and these are the beautiful deities at that place. Gonitai, Radha Krishna, very beautiful. And then these are a closer look at Radha Krishna there.
Prabhuji, they decorated very nicely.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so beautiful. Okay, so let's see if I can.
The background looks like real Vrindavan.
Yeah, it looks so good. Yeah, so good. Okay, good. So, at the age of 16, he took shelter of the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, and he's said to be the last disciple accepted by Nityananda Prabhu. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is directly a initiated devotee of Nityananda. So very powerful soul. Once having set off from Navadvip to Puri, they were passing Denur. There, Rama Hari Chakravarti served the devotees prasad happily. And after taking prasad, Nityananda Prabhu asked his servitor, at that time, Vrindavan Das Thakur was a young boy, Vrindavan, where is my thing? And his thing means something they take after prasad. Hartaki is a kind of fruit that is used as a mouth freshener or a digestive. And Vrindavan Das Thakur immediately gave it to Nityananda. And although he was happy inside, he showed anger because he asked Vrindavan Das Thakur, where did you get it from so quickly? He was very surprised. So Vrindavan Das Thakur replied, Prabhu, yesterday morning you took prasad in Navadvip and a devotee gave it to me. I kept some for you because I knew you would ask for it. So then Nityananda said, this is householder mood. Keeping something for tomorrow is not good for a brahmachari. It is not good for you. Better you stay here and make a family and preach here. This also happened another time. And that was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I can't remember the devotee's name, but it seems to be one of the standards that Gaunitai have set. If somebody keeps something for the next day, then better they are living as householders rather than brahmacharis. So very interesting. By the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Vrindavan Das Thakur stayed in that village to expand his preaching. Vrindavan Das Thakur stayed in Denur, installed deities of Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu and served there. So these are the deities in Denur. Okay. So we have Gaunitai, Jagannath, Radha Krishna, there's Baladev, Subhadramani there as well. So you can see a nice smile there. On Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sorry?
Prabhuji, after Jagannath, Gaunita is there. After Gaunita, is it Krishna and Radha?
Yeah. Radha and Krishna. Very good. And
Prabhuji,
here,
the rate of Subhadra is very small.
she's dwarfed. That's right. Okay. From an
Prabhuji?
Yes.
Can you again show that picture once again?
Sure.
I see something here. Where, Prabhuji?
Where?
Here, Prabhuji. What is this?
I can't see what you're doing.
Yeah,
this is Shaligram. These are the Shaligram, Shilas.
Oh.
Yeah. Very well spotted. Very good boy. Very good boy.
Prabhuji, now you can go to the story.
Thank you. From an early age, Vrindavan Das was recognized as a great writer. And in 1935, What year did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu depart for the spiritual world? Anybody remember? What year did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leave this world? He was born in 1486. He lived for 48 years. So when did he leave this world? 48 years. Anybody remember? Okay, I'll tell you. 1524. So 11 years later, Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote the Chaitanya Bhagavat, a biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Initially, he had...
When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed?
1524.
Means when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, then Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Yes, 11 years after. And it was initially called Chaitanya Mangal, but there was a poet called Lochan Das, who'd already written a book with the title Chaitanya Mangal. So then the leading Vaishnavas in Vrindavan decided that Vrindavan Das Thakur's book would be known as Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Lochan Das's would be remaining as Chaitanya Mangal. So Vrindavan Das became so absorbed in the descriptions of Nityananda Prabhu's Leela. So remember, he was a disciple of Lord Nityananda. So he was a great fan of Nityananda. He did not elaborately relate all of Mahaprabhu's activities. He only summarized them in abbreviated form. And Chaitanya Das then, this is Krishna Das Kaviraj, then elaborated on these undescribed activities in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there's 3 books. We'll see that. Here we go. Scholars have written several biographical works on the life of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's Chaitanya Charit, which is Murari Gupta. There's Chaitanya Mangal by Lochan Das Goswami. Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And then we had also Krishna Das Kaviraj written the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is one of the verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita written by Krishna Das Kaviraj. Chaitanya lilete lilate vyasa Vrindavana dasa tanra kripa vina anye nahaya prakasha. And the translation is Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is the authorized writer on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Without his mercy, therefore, one cannot describe these pastimes. So Krishna Das Kaviraj had great regard for Vrindavan Das Thakur. So Vrindavan Das Thakur hadn't covered the later pastimes of Mahaprabhu, and this devotee requested Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami to write. He was a disciple of Raghunath Das Goswami. That's Krishna Das Goswami, Krishna Das Kaviraj. And Raghunath Das Goswami was one of the 6 Goswamis, a confidential follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Das Goswami heard and memorized all of the activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told to him by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Therefore, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Vrindavan Das primarily, he wrote Mahaprabhu's early activities, such as his pastimes as a student, his childhood, his chastisement of the Chandakazi, and his departure from Navadvip, as well as some aspects of his life in Puri. And Vrindavan Das also, he wrote many bhajans. Then Krishna Das Kaviraj, he would glorify Vrindavan Das Thakur a lot. And actually, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, he would request everybody to read this Chaitanya Bhagavat. mainly because there was not much philosophy in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, mainly pastimes of Gaur Nitai. And why would he encourage people to read Chaitanya Bhagavat? Because people were not so interested in philosophy. So he was thinking that if they become attached to Gaur Nitai and the pastimes of Gaur Nitai, then they will become Krishna conscious quickly. But our Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, he actually translated into English from Bengali the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because in the West, there was more demand for the philosophy. So through the philosophy, people became convinced. In Bengal, in the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, people already had some idea about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. So when they read the Chaitanya Bhagavat, they would become more attached to the sweet pastimes of Gaur Nitai. So that's why he focused on Bhagavat, Chaitanya Bhagavat. But our Prabhupada, he focused on Chaitanya Charitamrita, because that includes a lot more philosophy as well as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lifestyle. Srila Prabhupada kindly translated Chaitanya Charitamrita from Bengali to English. Vrindavan Das Thakur accompanied Janava Mata, the wife of Nityananda, to Keturi Gaur Purnima festival. That was the first Gaur Purnima festival, which was organized by Narottam Das Thakur. Vrindavan Das Thakur demonstrated infinite mercy on fallen souls by warning them. So one of the things he did was he would warn them that don't commit offenses against devotees. Eta parihare oje papi ninda kare tabela thi marontar shirera upare. Even after being told how objectionable it is, if somebody still blasphemes the Vaishnavas, then I will kick him in the head. That was his mood. These same words were repeated in Adi, Madhya, and Antya Khandas of Chaitanya Bhagavat. Some foolish and arrogant persons misunderstood such statements and criticized Vrindavan Das for having made them. Such criticism leads them into the mud of offensiveness. In this connection, the remarks of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada, the founder of the Gaudiya Math, are well worth studying. And he also writes, I am ready to kick the heads of those envious and hellish persons who blaspheme Nityananda Prabhu. If by so doing, I will be forever prevent them from repeating their attempts to show disrespect for the Supreme Lord. Not only that, but if by so doing, I can bring about the conception of the truth, I'll be performing them the greatest service. So says Vrindavan Das, the incarnation of Vyas, an acharya of the Vaishnava faith. If even a single fleck of dust should fall from his foot on the head of a sinful blasphemer, then that person will be blessed and all his sinful conditioning will inevitably be eradicated. In words which embody the goddess of learning and a flood of pure devotion, the Thakur reveals compassion for even the most atheistic blasphemer, with the unswerving faith appropriate to a servant of Nityananda Prabhu, the Supreme Guru. He tells them that although they should be the object of indifference due to their foolishness, nevertheless, because of their ignorance of the truth of Nityananda, their insistence of rushing headlong on the path to hell, and their reluctance to act in their own self-interest, he and other compassionate Vaishnavas like him, who practice and preach the Lord's doctrines unselfishly and disinterestedly, act for their welfare. The compassion which is manifested in Vrindavan Das's statement is beyond the comprehension of those who have no understanding of what is truly in their own self-interest. Anyone who follows in the footsteps of Vrindavan Das, the incarnation of Vyas, and both practices and preaches the Vaishnava religion is always engaged in an effort to bring about the ultimate well-being of everyone. though he may make a superficial show of wishing to punish the enemies of the Lord, in fact, he harbors a compassion towards them which knows no limits. So even though Vrindavan Das Thakur made such comments, what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is saying is, it's actually for the benefit of the blasphemer that these comments are made. So to stop them blaspheming the lordships and begin to serve the Lord. And blaspheming the devotees as well. So it's really powerful stuff. At Mam Gachi in Moda Drumdweep, now the Vrindavan Das Thakur established deities of Nitai Gauranga and Jagannath, Sri Jagannath. He lived there as a celibate and worshipped his beloved deities. Vrindavan Das had many disciples, including Gopinath Brahmachari, a descendant of Sri Keshava Bharati. In Krishna's pastimes, Vrindavan Das is Srila Vyasadeva. His samadhi is in the 64 samadhis area of Vrindavan, and Disappearance Day is Krishna Dasami of Vaishak, 1589. So about 82 years, 6th of May yesterday, and he lived for over 80 years. So that's the pastime of Vrindavan Das Thakur. Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Any comments? Anybody like to add anything? Yes.
Vrindavan Das Thakur is only Vyasadeva.
Yes. He's an incarnation of Vyasadeva.
When he was Vyasadeva, he wrote many philosophical Mayavadi philosophies.
Mm.
And when he came in Chaitanya Leela, he wrote about God only specifically.
Mm. But even as Vyasadeva, he wrote the Bhagavatam, which is all about Krishna, which is what we're going through.
Before he wrote many Mayavadi philosophies.
He wrote the Vedas.
Because he don't know.
Not
But
necessarily.
when Narad Muni came and instructed Vyasadeva, then only he came to know that he had to write Srimad Bhagavatam.
But it wasn't just the Mayavadi philosophy. He was he wrote the Vedas, the Puranas, the Upanishads. So these philosophies are, the Vedas, for example, mainly they guide people to go to heaven by doing punya karma. So it wasn't just Mayavad philosophy that he wrote. He wrote some, because some aspects of the Vedas relate to the impersonal form of the Lord. But all of those did not relate to Sri Krishna. So as you said, he was not happy. And then Narad Muni guided him to write about Krishna. Very good.
Even if we go to heaven, we fall to earth again. If we go to Krishna, Godhead, then we can't fall again on the earth.
Very good. Very good. That's correct. Good understanding, Riyaj. Anybody else? Anything else? Otherwise, we can go to the Nishinga Kavach.